Good day, my loves. Good day, good day, good day. Welcome back to my channel. This is Spiritually Savage here, where we talk about everything that is involving in life and spirituality, mainly because it's been missing from all of our lives. Okay, it was deliberately kept, and I'm gonna say over 400 years it's been that way. It was systematically, it's like they separated us from our God consciousness by focusing on obtaining, spending, splurging, eating, all the external stuff, and kept us going, kept us on the clock, kept us on that hamster wheel so we wouldn't sit still enough to listen to our internal selves, to listen to our higher selves, right? So, thank you guys for listening to me. I appreciate it. My hope for you is that by me sharing anything about my personal life and my trials and tribulations and what I have experienced firsthand, that you learn something that you can apply to your life. Okay? Stop, Cash. Get down. Get down. Down. You can apply it to your life to make your journey a little bit easier. Not saying it's going to be easy, but if you can glean anything, if you can learn anything, if you can cipher any information that I'm providing you and it resonates with you, meaning it makes you feel a certain kind of way, it makes you go, aha, oh my goodness, I was thinking of that, then that message is for you, right? And sometimes I do go off on a tangent, which I call a tangent, but it's not a tangent because it's a pattern. And so if I recognize a pattern, I got to give you the first and the second one before I can give you the conclusion, so you can see how it all lines up and how it can differentiate and how it can look be the same exact thing, just in different faces and different avatars and different bodies and different entities and different spirits. Okay, so like yesterday, I posted a video, or I made a video, and it was talking about when I went out into the matrix and I was doing my neighbor's hair. And remember, I went to the first time it was mentioned about me being his girlfriend. And then the second time, and then him actually acting it out. So he didn't say I was his girlfriend like the other two people did, but he acted it out and called me babe. So that's like a form of MK Ultra. It's a form of gaslighting. You hear me? Okay. So that's why sometimes, like just now, I went off. So you can understand, overstand, and understand, especially if this is your first time clicking on my video and you haven't watched any other videos. Might I suggest you do so? And if you have not done so, please click the link below to subscribe and like and share, okay? This one you really are going to want to share because I know this is going to touch a lot of people. So, on my journey, mind you, I started smoking weed when I was 30, and it was part of black magic. Up until then, I tried it one time with my homegirl when we was like 19, got our first apartment. I acted silly, but I was already silly. And I know after me really getting high the first time that I was not high that time. I was just acting silly. I never even inhaled, okay? I know I sound like freaking the president. Get down, down, down. Thank you. You know I pet you, so just wait a minute. Okay, right now I'm doing something. Once I'm finished, you know I'll pet you. You know I will. I'm not going to leave you like that. So I started smoking weed when I was 30. And an op came over and did it. And she had been trying my whole teenage life. I met her in high school and she had been trying. But at this point, I was weakened because I was having so many surgeries. There were so many issues with my reproductive system. And this was the first major surgery that I was having on it. And all of this was because of black magic. I need y'all to understand, overstand, and understand. From the moment I was born, someone was manipulating my energy and causing havoc in my life, okay? Even though I chose this life. So I don't want you to feel like I'm sounding like a victim, because I'm not a victim at all. All of this happened and it was designed to build me up into the person that God needs me to be. I need me to be, okay? My ancestors dreamed of me to be. I am their dreams untold. I am everything that they wanted to be in their lifetimes, but didn't have the tools that I have in this lifetime. I don't even know what that means. Meaning, I don't know where, I really don't know. I have goals, I have dreams, but I don't know how they're going to manifest. And really isn't my business. It's just my business to do what I need to do on my part. Mind, body, soul, and spirit, and emotional state. And with all that being said, I was writing. And on the beginning of my journey, I knew like maybe 5 years ago I needed to stop smoking. And I felt it with an urgency, but I couldn't stop. Right. And so during this time, I developed anxiety, y'all. Then I was diagnosed with what they call it, um, autoimmune deficiency, which was fibromyalgia. And back in my 20s was the first time I heard about it. And we thought it was something that was ridiculous. But what I've noticed in my lifetime is that new illnesses arise, so new medication can be supplied. Okay? It's a cycle. And so, with that being said, I'm writing in my journal, and I remember coming across a video from, what's his name? I can't remember his name right now. I see his face clearly. Enoch 777. Came across a video he did, and it came up in my feed again, but I didn't watch it, but I took it as a sign. And so I'm writing, and I'm like, okay, as I'm writing, I'm thinking, because of course I just smoked a little bit, whatever I could find, really, basically. And normally I get it from my nephew. He hasn't said much about it, but I'm sure it's irritating him. But he did say he don't care about that because he got weed. He didn't care about his roaches. He may have changed his mind since then, but he hasn't informed me. But anyway, I'm just picking up on his energy, but he still hasn't said anything. Anywho, but I always pay my debts no matter what. Whenever I get up, if I was ever down and I get up, I always pay people back. And whoever's been around me knows that. Even though I still feel like I'm your auntie, I took care of you, I let you stay with me for free and all that stuff, and I shouldn't have to pay you back. But, I don't want people to feel like they have anything over me, so I will repay my debts. Anywho, that was a tangent. Make sure you pay your debts, okay? It doesn't matter what they've done to you, because what we don't want to do is, on your healing journey, side note, and then I'm going to get back to where I was going with the weed. On your healing journey, you are repaying your karma and probably your ancestors' karma as well. That's why things don't make sense. Healing trauma is karma. They're wounds. To me, they're like one and the same, because they feel the exact same. Karma feels like, dang, oh my goodness. Trauma feels like, dang, oh my goodness. They're the same to me, right? Unless it's like good karma or whatever the case. But anywho, on your journey, you are healing that. You are healing things that you have broken. Meaning, you're not only just going to get the people who did you wrong, you're going to realize in your understanding the people that you've done wrong, whether or not it was intentional or non intentional. The intentional ones, we're like, probably a little remorseful, but not quite, because in the moment we felt that it was right. But it's the ones that you weren't aware that you caused. It's the pain that you weren't aware that you caused because people were hush about it. People didn't tell you about it. People just went on like everything was okay, and it festered in them. It didn't fester in you because you said whatever you said, and then you went on about your day, and you didn't know how it affected anybody or any kind of way. You didn't know because why they didn't tell you. And so when the moment you're down or the moment they see a weakness in you, and it's 9 times out of 10 when you've hit a rough patch in your life, which everyone will have to deal with and go through, no matter your race, creed, color, or even your financial status. It doesn't matter. Everybody has to go through it, right? Um, you're healing it. And so when you realize that the people who didn't say anything to you and felt some kind of way, you ain't gonna know that until after you're down and they feel like they got one up on you, because that's what I experienced. Even though I never felt like I had one up on anybody, I was just living my life. But according to them, they felt like you were slighting them, but you weren't. You were just living your life. Okay, but you still hurt them with your words. Maybe you had a fight. The devil jumped in one time, and it was during a time where it was a pinnacle moment for me. And I know now, hindsight 2020, but I knew then in that moment that had I hit my niece bad, then I would have been stuck in another karmic cycle with them. I would have been. But I handled it like a G, and I kicked the fucking door instead. Excuse my language. But that's how I felt at the moment then too. Because if I'd have hit her, it would have fractured my family. But it would have been, no, it wouldn't have fractured my family. Let me rephrase that, because I just got a revelation. It wouldn't have been. It would have been, they would have been able to say, see, I told you all the lies. I don't know all the lies they've told about me. I don't. I know there have been many, because certain people have come back and said things to me. And I'm, this is not throwing no shade. This is just speaking facts. I know my mom and them have lied. I know it, because their memory is distorted, or they act as if they don't remember. And 9 times out of 10, I would say that they don't remember, because 9 times out of 10 a demon jumped in their body. Okay, especially when my oldest niece tried to fight me. I knew then. I called it out then, and this was during my walk. I think this was like in the beginning, like the first year. Yeah. But I also know I instigated it too. So when you can't always point the finger, because when you point in one, there's three more pointing back at you. So you always look at yourself first before you look at the other person. And I did antagonize. I did. I was cruel with my words and how I said them. They were the truth. I didn't lie, but how I said them, it was just, yeah. So I know I enraged her, but she didn't have to touch me either. And that just shows how I used to be. When you don't have control of your emotions, it becomes a problem for you and the people around you. Okay, that was a side note. I don't know why I had to go there, but I went there. So somebody who clicked on needs to hear that part. I don't know. That's just normally how I operate. It's crazy though, because I thought it was just me, but now that I have, more information, it's kind of weird for me to be like downloads. I hear the lingo. I hear, people in the spiritual community, they be like downloads, and I get it, and I know it to be that, but it feels weird for me to say that. So if I don't say that, please don't feel like I'm in my ego, like I'm doing this, because I'm not. I know that for a fact. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. My life is indicative of it, okay? And I can never deny God's presence and my ancestors' presence and my spiritual God's presence in my life. I can never do that. I can never do that. I am alive today to be able to tell you this message because of them. Not no human being, but the spiritual realm. Okay? My guardian angels, my honorable ancestors, the Most High. Yes, Jah, whatever name you want to call. I know the Most High. Whether you recognize that to be a male or a female, why can't it be both? People say my creator. Okay, it can be both. We encompass both energies, male and female. So I don't get why they isolated the male. Well, no, I get why they did that. Anywho, that's a whole nother story. So back to the topic. Back to the topic. Back to the topic. So I just wrote, and I'm not even joking, and I stopped and I paused. Should I read this whole thing to you? Let me see. I can read this part. I wrote, what did I sign up for following my destiny? Well, the alternative was a no-go. Because the alternative was staying in toxic situations and them sacrificing me for their greater good. That's what was happening to me in the spirit world. And how it shows up. So this is okay. I'm gonna get to my story on the thing. If you've clicked on any other videos, you know this is how my mind operates. So I'm hoping it makes sense to you. What was I about to say before I said that? The alternative was me staying in a toxic situation, and it was and and but I didn't know about the spirit world, so I didn't know anything about sacrificing and how that goes on. I didn't even know anything about the judicial system in the spiritual realm and how that goes on. I didn't know anything about black magic. I didn't know anything about narcissistic spider's web. I didn't know anything about necromancy. I didn't know anything about hydromancy. I didn't know anything about witches, warlocks, and I didn't know anything about none of that stuff except for what I seen on TV. Point blank. Period. That's all I knew. But on this journey, I learned a whole lot. Okay? I learned a whole lot. But I didn't know that stuff. Hindsight 2020, I can see how it all played out. And so right now, if you're in a space where things are falling apart, it's because you have people around you. If you're going to jail and you ain't never been to jail, that happened to me. Listen, there's a devil in your midst. And 9 times out of 10, they are covert. They are narcissistic. You know what that looks like? Because if it's happening to you in the 3D, in this present time, then they doing some heavy black magic on you, my love, in the spirit realm. So what it looks like is that everybody around you, I don't know to the extent, because I don't know who you are. I don't know how you grew up or anything like that. So I can only give you my story, and you can apply it to your life however you see fit. But in my life, it was everybody. In your life, it may have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. It may have been 10 people. But in my life, it was everybody. It was everybody. And the reason why I say everybody, and I'm going to sum it up in just one phrase, because everybody held grudges or held something to them that I supposedly did to offend them, and they never spoke to me about it until I start asking questions like, yo, why y'all treating me this way? Yo, why you doing me like this? Yo, why I didn't do anything to you? Why when they started treating me like shit because I couldn't do anything for them, basically I couldn't give them no money, or I stopped. Let me just say that I stopped giving my money, my time, my energy, my advice, my food. It was just basic. You talk to me, I talk to you. I'm still an excitable person. I'm still, you know, uh, a motivating person, encouraging person. But if they're not motivating you, if they are not encouraging you, then why are you consistently doing it for them? You are pouring into an empty vessel. That's basically what it amounts to. If they don't have the same energy to give to you, like, yo girl, you doing good. Oh, yo girl, how you doing? Yo girl, I thought about you today. I thought I'd figure out I'd call you. Yo, I know you having a rough time. I thought I'd come take you to the grocery store. Yo, do you need anything? I'm finna go wash clothes. Do you need to go? What? if they're not doing none of that for you, like none of that, and every time you say something about it, you bring it up, because you have to do that. You can't assume anything. You can't assume, oh, you do have to bring it up to them, because by you bringing it up, listen, words are powerful. God is always listening. By you bringing it up, it brings it up to the spiritual court, because you spoke those words out loud. Now, what they do with that is up to them, but you don't have nothing to worry about. You've done your part. You've handled your karma. You've done your due diligence. Now, what they do on the other end is on them. But what I do know is that karma comes back. And people like to say karma a lot, but really it's energy. So the energy that you put out there, it has to come back. It's going to boomerang back. That's why you got to be mindful and careful about the things that you say and do, because we are in an energetic field. That thing can boomerang back in the next day, in the next. We've seen videos where we've all laughed about it, where someone got they just deserved karma right when they did some messed up stuff to some person or animal or anything, you know? So be mindful about what you're doing. And so that ties into what I was saying, because as you're on this journey, you're healing your karma. Your karmic. Don't do it. Get down. Get down. I'm not done. You'll know when I'm done. Get down. Thank you. You're healing your karmic, your karma. You're healing your karma. When you go into the dark night of the soul, you're not just going down there to deep dive about what other people did to you and you know how they made you feel. You going down there for yourself too, because you did some things too. You messed up too. You was foul too. You did some shady stuff too. Okay? To the extent of your shadiness, that's on you and God. I don't need to know about it. No, nobody need to know about it. You don't need to confess to nobody. You do need to amend anything that you have hurt, broken, or injured. You really do. Because if not, you know what? That karma comes back to you. Especially if it wasn't. Now, the thing about it is that when it's not ill intent and you just, it was done out of ignorance, like I did with my homegirl, the karma is not going to be so bad. You're going to feel what you made them feel, though. You're going to feel it. But you ain't going to lose nothing. You know what I'm saying? You lose a part of your ego, which you need to. You need to humble yourself. But people are going to feel what they made other people feel. And a lot of people are not going to be able to handle that. Meaning they can dish it out. They can make you feel isolated. They can make you feel like you alone by not inviting you places and doing stuff like that. But when it gets done back to them, how are they going to handle that? How are you going to handle that? Let me be specific. Okay? How are you going to handle that? So be mindful about what you say, especially on this journey. So you don't want to bring more karma on you after you're already in the process of healing old karma and your mama karma and your grandparents karma and your whole lineage karma. Okay? So that's why I'm very careful now, more so than I was before. Before, my mouth was fire. It really is still. And I haven't gotten rid of it. I know my videos have been mainly focusing on the love and the light, and I had to because I was healing. And when you focus on love and light, when you're in the dark night of the soul, it helps you out. It would behoove you not to dwell on darkness. And I mean, you have to go there. You have to shine a light on it, but don't dwell on it. You know what I mean? You have to stay in a positive mindset when you are deep diving into your soul, when you are going into the dark night of the soul. You must. It is imperative. It is important. It is importante. It is important that you remain in a high vibration. And that goes for anything whenever you're dealing with a toxic situation. Now, what I'm saying is stay in a high vibration, but I'm not saying you can't go low. I know they bred us to say don't go low. No, sometimes you need to gather somebody up. And I just watched a video where he just drilled it home. I was already thinking that because I've been nice my whole life though. That's the thing. I've been nice. I've been nice. I've been nice until you piss me off. And when I was a kid, it didn't take much to piss me off, which is why a lot of people got beat up. As an adult, I am super nice because I feel what they're feeling and what they're going through. But I allowed them to walk over me. Unbeknownst to me, because I didn't know that. Thought I did it in the name of family. That's what I thought I was doing it for. And I wasn't looking at the energy that wasn't being reciprocated. I was just looking at the title. That's how they dupe you. That's how religion dupes you. That family this, family that. Yeah, but the people who are standing in front of you may not be your family. They may be the family you were born into, but they may not be your spiritual family. So if you felt like an outcast your whole life, or you felt like you've been a scapegoat your whole life, or you just knew you didn't fit in, there's a reason why you need to dig into your birth chart to understand, overstand, and understand that. That's where a lot of my information is coming from about myself. It connected the dots that were so many missing pieces, but my birth chart has connected the dots, and it can connect your dots as well too. Okay. 25 minutes. Okay. So why I say it's time to quit smoking even after I just smoked is because I watched a video early on in my thing, and I was still smoking. Because when I first started, it helped with my anxiety. I didn't even know it was anxiety until I felt like I was falling on the inside of me. Okay. So I watched a video of Enoch 777. I think that's his name. I watched a lot of videos, so you'll hear me periodically. If I can recall their names, I'll let you know. But I watched thousands of people. Like, I need you to realize and understand that. I really have. I watched thousands of videos, but I've watched hundreds of people's. I don't know if I've watched 1,000 different people yet. I probably have though, because this has been a 3-year journey, and I've been in here tearing YouTube up. I wonder if they can tell me how many hours I've spent on YouTube. That'll give me an estimation. Anywho, and in his video, it was called "They've Weaponized the Weed." Okay, it's what we're smoking now is weaponized weed. And so of course I'm like, well, how's that? How did they do that? And blah 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 blah. But then a couple of instances where I've met, and this one of them happened when I was living in Texas, and I met this chick because I was driving Lyft, and I met this chick, and she was telling me about, she was from Denver, and about how the weed was out there and blah 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 blah, and how the weed that they had in Texas was blah 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 blah. And she was like, it's just not the same anymore. Okay, that was incident number one. And then there was a lady who, when I picked her up, I was driving here in Atlanta, and her house was bad. And you can tell she was spiritual because she had her hair wrapped. She had her hair tied up. And then we were speaking about churches, and I believe she went to, I forget the name of the church she went to, but she was a Black American, and church she went to, I think she went to a Haitian church. I don't know. It was they were Black, but they didn't speak any English. I forget what she said. I recorded our conversation too, because I was this whole time I was on my journey, and I kept talking to God, and I was recording my voice. I wasn't comfortable being on film or being camera because I was being vulnerable, and it was like weird looking at myself be vulnerable. Now it's whatever. But she said that she used to live in California, and she said she knew something was up, and I felt like she was dropping this in my spirit for a reason. Because depending on if I had just smoked in my car, people could smell it. And sometimes I really didn't care, depending on where. And this was not in my journey, but I'm just saying, you can, if you're not a smoker and you get into a car, it don't matter if they smoked 2 hours ago, you can still smell it, because that's how I am with cigarettes. Anywho, and she said that she used to live in California, and she said when they legalized it, it didn't do anything for her. It didn't, like, send off any red flags. Her senses didn't start tingling or nothing like that. Like her intuition wasn't buzzed. But she said the moment she seen an ice cream truck in the neighborhood and they wasn't selling ice cream, y'all, she said, I knew it was a trick. She said, I knew it was a trick. This is what she said. So that came up while I was writing today. First it was, and I just remembered about that story because I didn't think about it while I was writing. The only one I was thinking about was Enoch saying that it was weaponized, because I'm like, well, how could they weaponize it? But it dawned on me. So fast forward to now, currently, in about a month ago. So there was a moment when for 2 months I didn't smoke. And then when I started back smoking, I've been smoking ever since. Not a lot, like, of course, because I don't have money to buy it. So it's been, sporadically. But it's been enough for me to notice something, that my memory, what do they call it? My immediate memory, like say I forget, I'm about to go in the kitchen to do something. I get to the kitchen and I can't remember. But it's happening with thoughts and revelations that I'm having. That's why I said it's time to quit smoking, because I was trying to figure out, how could you weaponize weed? Like, how could you weaponize it? And not only is it taking your thoughts or making you forget, but it also has a physical addictive component to it. I'm telling y'all what I know. I didn't smoke until I was 30. I did not smoke until I was 30. So I know me, and I know what I was like beforehand, and I know what I was like when I first started smoking, and I know what I'm like now. There is an addictive component to it now. Okay, and I just wrote this. They are using weed to steal your thoughts and ideas. That thought just came out of the cosmos, and I put a smiley face. So, it's definitely time to stop. And so, yeah, that's what they're doing with it. I can't recall what Enoch said in it and how he described the weaponization of it, but I can definitely tell you from my own personal experience, from what I feel, from what I thought, from and what I remember. Because any other time I didn't have weed, there wasn't no need or feeling. Black magic is no longer being done on me. I'm protected. I don't even subscribe to that. I'm fighting against me right now. And so I'm like, okay, if there's no black magic being done on me, I'm not being affected anymore about it. So why is it difficult for me to stop? Now, when I stopped for the 2 months, I just threw it away. No problem. The only thing I dealt with was insomnia for like the first night or two, and that was it. But since I started smoking after that 2 months, y'all, there is a physical component to it now, meaning weed was never addictive to the body. It wasn't. You didn't have withdrawal symptoms from it.